Lucky Boy, Part 2. The ground felt almost cool, and as Boy stood and turned in a circle, he had an urge to dig. He found that as he dug, the earth became cooler and cooler. As the days passed and the heat grew more unbearable, Boy dug deeper and deeper behind his shrub. He dug until his body lay in the depression, with only his nose and eyes above the top of the hole. From here he could see underneath the fence into the neighbor's yard, and he watched as the old man worked the soil in his vegetable garden. The yard was beautiful. It was planted with thick flowering trees and shrubs and had an expanse of lush green grass. Boy began to dig under the fence. It took hours, and it was the biggest effort of his life. When he finally emerged on the other side, it was dark. He had come up through a soft compost pile, which now collapsed into the tunnel he had dug. He sat damp and shivering on the soft lawn. The constellations swirled above him, and a terrifying sense of freedom swept through him. The man's house was dark and quiet. Boy found a soft flannel shirt that had been discarded on the grass. Exhausted, he curled up on it and slept through the night. The sun found Boy stretched out on the shirt. "And what is this?" cried Mr. Miller as he leaned over the small dog. Boy awoke and looked shyly into the man's eyes. The man gazed around the yard, checking to see if the gates were still locked. He scanned the fence for a break, but saw none. He even looked to the sky as if Boy might have descended from the heavens. Then he grinned and he said, "Lord knows where you came from, but you must be in the right place, seeing as how you can't get out." Mr. Miller picked him up and carried him into the house. The first stop was the utility tub on the back porch, where Mr. Miller bathed and dried the little dog. "Well, I'll be," said Mr. Miller. "You're not brown at all." For the first time in his life, Boy felt clean. His white fur glistened and his brown spots gleamed. "Come on, I'll take you on a tour of the house. This is the kitchen, and it could use some cleaning," he said apologetically. Boy surveyed a sunny room with scattered rag rugs on black and white linoleum. It took some getting used to walking on that floor. They came to the back bedroom, where Mr. Miller invited Boy to jump up on the bed. "So long as you're clean, I don't see the harm in it. Although saints be praised, Mary would never have approved." Boy flopped on his back and swiveled this way and that. Sounds escaped from him that he had never made before, sounds of bliss. Mr. Miller laughed and clapped his hands. "It's been a good long time since I've had a laugh. You and I are lucky to have found each other, Boy." And with that, Boy became Lucky Boy. Mr. Miller scanned the cupboard and refrigerator shelves and came to the conclusion that he had no food suitable for a dog. He had hardly any food suitable for a human, for that matter. "Guess I've kind of let things go around here, Lucky Boy. Don't know what I have been eating." And so they set off for the store. Lucky Boy sat in the front with the window rolled down so he could catch the breeze. Oh, to go so fast that things became a blur. To feel the wind course through his nose till he couldn't breathe. And to sneeze the biggest sneeze of his life. Mr. Miller laughed and laughed until he had to pull off to the side of the road. Lucky Boy waited in the car with the windows rolled down while Mr. Miller went into the store to buy groceries, a collar, and a leash. People passing the car commented, "What a cute dog! Why, he looks like he's driving. My, how well behaved he is." Lucky Boy's tail sounded a rhythmic beat all the way home. And that is the conclusion of part 2.